Alright, so we just moved and we had some extra light bulbs from our other house that fit there but don't fit here. So we're going to turn it into a light bulb terrarium. For some reason I was thinking this was going to be a little bit easier. You could just unscrew this back metal part, but in fact you actually have to cut a bit of it off. So we used the Dremel, popped that end off, and you can kind of see inside that light bulb there's a little bit of like wiring, of course, kind of a computer chip looking thing, a little battery or something. I have no idea what's in here. I'm building a terrarium. I'm not an engineer. I'm very sorry. But we ended up having to get this out. Used a variety of things. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a simple project. But we're popping that out. I ended up deciding to cut a little bit more of the back off just so I had some more access of when I'm getting stuff in. Trying to break this chip out with a couple different methods. What I ended up doing was just using the Dremel. I put a little sanding bit on there and just kind of worked that around. Sanded down that disc and a little bit of glass. The problem was I ended up slipping, so I cracked a little bit of this glass on the top end. It's not too bad, so I was hoping I could salvage it, but pulling the actual lighting fixture out, you can see it didn't take too much pressure, just popped the rest of it off. Like I said, I only have one of these light bulbs, so what do you do except get on Amazon, order it, and wait patiently? Yeah, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. We're going to run upstairs, grab a slightly different light bulb out of the bathroom because for sure I can find and order another one, right? Nope. Looked for a long time. Cannot find this exact same light bulb. But I looked after I finished the project. So we're going to do everything again. Dremel off the back end. You can see this has a little bit more inside of it, but ended up popping out a lot easier. So it makes you wonder if I should have just done this in the first place. Everything comes out as one piece. And then I just have to kind of break the glass that's holding the light fixture inside. So you can see I worked those pliers in and just popped a couple different pieces. And then I worked some pliers in there, kind of bent that wire so it fit out that hole and worked that out. Again, there's a little bit too small of a hole in the back, so I used the exact same thing that I did when I cracked the other one, just a little bit more careful, and that worked out really well. So now that we got it rinsed up, washed out, this is what we've got to work with. First things first, we're going to get added a drainage layer. This is going to be a closed terrarium, but with any terrarium you're going to want something where the water can drain out of the substrate so it's not molding. I won't make you watch every little bit of this here. We get just a nice little tiny layer in here. Obviously it doesn't need to be too thick because this isn't going to be that big. Because this is going to use such a small amount of substrate, I actually just stole a little bit from another closed terrarium I have. So this is going to be a mix of sphagnum moss, cocoa fiber. It's got a little bit of activated charcoal in there, as well as some springtails already inside. So we worked a bit of that in, and then I've got a couple different species of moss that I'm just going to work in here. End up having to use some smaller tweezers since these were a little too wide. They wouldn't let me open and drop the moss inside. We're going to get 3 different species of moss in here. We'll see kind of which one does best. They should all do pretty well. Then we're going to get just a little bit of a focal plant in the back. Next we're going to work in some hardscape. I found this tiny little root ball looking thing that will hopefully be the focus of the hardscape. We've got a couple other small little twigs in there to hopefully bring the look full circle. Here's what we ended up with. The hardest part of filming a light bulb is that it's obviously a circle, so no matter where your light source is coming in from, you've got a nice glare, but hopefully you can see a little bit more of how this ended up looking. We ended up adding just a little bit of water here, very carefully of course. Then we got the cap on, and we just set it in a corner where it gets some indirect light, and that'll be all. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to stick around for some more.